This video will teach you everything that's wrong with conventional vegan protein advice. I can talk about this because I myself went through this. I took the typical advice when I first went vegan, and that made me really struggle and made me gain 30 pounds of weight in just a few months and turned me from a fit omnivore to a skinny fat vegan. So if you're currently watching this video and you're trying to be healthy and fit on a plant-based diet, then this video is for you because protein needs to be understood for you to be successful. A lot of vegans are missing out on potential results, on potential health and toning and muscle gain results while not getting their protein in the right way. So I want to use this video to just break it to you and share with you the 5 common misconceptions that I see after having coached over 1,000 vegans by now in my one-on-one coaching program. I see exactly what most people are doing wrong, and I want you to avoid these mistakes. Let's start with the first misconception, which is best vegan protein sources, which you might find online. If you Google this right now, there's a lot of things that can come up. A lot of infographics, a lot of info, and I want to share what's wrong with the info, right? So I can put on the screen maybe one of the infographics, but here's one example where they put nutritional yeast right at the top with 5 grams of protein. There's no context here, like how much should you use? Like peanut butter, 7 grams of protein. You almost need like 50 to 60 grams of peanut butter to achieve that, right? Or if we go lower here, black beans, 16 grams of protein. How much should you use? Look at some other infographics here. Again, you see lentils, you see spirulina powder. And all these things, they're not great protein sources. The reason why I want to share this is because beans, legumes, and all these sources I just shared, they are high in calories. Okay, if you're trying to lose fat and gain muscle on a plant-based diet, you gotta pay attention to your calorie intake too. So while you could get 16 grams of protein from peanut butter, from maybe 100 grams or 50 grams of peanut butter,
does it feel good?
That same amount of peanut butter has 200, 300 calories. Or for example, if you look at black beans, 1 cup of black beans maybe has 14 grams of protein, but then also has 240 calories. So basically, you're sacrificing your calories for having a little bit of protein. If you look up best vegan protein sources, if you see content online, then you can ignore most of the advice.
Get out the way, get out the way, bitch.
How I define a great vegan protein source is it having a ratio from 1 to 10, meaning 1 gram of protein for 10 calories. So an example could be, if a source has 20 grams of protein, then it should maximum have 200 calories to be considered a good protein source. And I want to give you a few examples for what could be great vegan protein sources. First, we have seitan, which has 21 grams of protein and only 100 calories. Like that is even better than a 1 to 10 ratio. Pretty awesome, right? Next, we have tofu, which is 12 grams of protein for 104 calories. Or tempeh, 20 grams of protein for 192 calories. And the best, protein powder. So just the rice protein powder, for example, has 80 grams of protein for 400 calories. That's why protein powder is so helpful if you're on a plant-based diet and can be used to make getting your protein in much easier. The second misconception I see happening a lot is people saying, just eat enough calories, you'll be able to hit your protein so easily. And I can again put an infographic on the screen right here where you see that is not the case at all. Just one properly planned meal can make you hit what a usual vegan just would eat in a day, eating one meal. So unfortunately, this advice is really harmful for you if you're trying to be healthy and fit on a plant-based diet. It's not possible. If you eat maybe some oats for breakfast, maybe a bean-based meal for lunch, maybe even a tofu-based meal for dinner, you might hit 60 grams, 70 grams, maybe 80 grams of protein. But usually for most people trying to be healthy and trying to get in shape, need at least 100 grams plus, if not 120 grams plus to be successful. I personally, for example, I'm aiming for around 200 grams of protein every single day. And trust me, I tried it. I tried doing it with chickpeas and black beans and lentils. And you can see what happened with my shape when I did that. So don't listen to that advice either, okay? Yes, obviously eating a whole food diet is important, but only eating whole foods and just hoping for the best, hoping you get your protein will not be enough for you to see results. The third misconception I see happening a lot is people saying eating too much protein is unhealthy for you and basically demonizing protein intake. I see this happening a lot in the vegan community, which is very unfortunate because again, it makes a lot of people struggle. Eating too much animal protein is definitely unhealthy for you. There's studies on that showing that if you eat too much animal protein, like from chicken, from steak, eggs, dairy products, it can have some adverse side effects later on in life. If you're eating plant protein, there's actually studies showing that an increased plant protein intake might increase your longevity, might increase your lifespan, and reduces your risk for all-cause mortality. So again, this advice you can also ignore, especially as you age. Protein becomes more and more important because your body is starting to break down muscle, right? Maybe you have a grandpa or grandma where you see their body is slowly but surely losing its muscle, losing its frame and its strength. As we get older, our body is not as effective basically using the protein we consume, and also people just don't pay attention to the protein. So what I did with my grandpa and grandma, I gave them protein powder. I told them, hey, have this at least 2 scoops a day because it's going to help you stay healthy as you age. And not even your grandma, even your parents, right? So it's not about being 80 years old. This becomes important as you get into your 30s, 40s, and even more so in your 50s. You want to make sure get enough protein, and just because people say it's unhealthy, it's bad for your liver, it's bad for your kidneys, I'll put the studies on screen. You don't have to worry about that. It becomes more important as you age, and plant protein is much healthier than animal protein. The next misconception a lot of vegans don't understand is they say vegan protein has all the essential amino acids. You don't have to worry about it. Yes, it's true. On a science perspective, vegan foods, vegan protein has all essential amino acids, which basically are the building blocks of protein. However, you need to understand that plant protein mostly is missing one of the crucial muscle-building amino acids, which is leucine. So there's a lot of studies showing that for you to trigger muscle protein synthesis, you need to hit at least 3 grams of leucine in every meal, which is like the threshold for your body to trigger muscle growth and muscle toning. And unfortunately, a lot of vegan protein sources, especially the ones I said like lentils and beans, do not hit this threshold, okay? Because you would have to eat a lot of food to hit it. You gotta understand that leucine is important if you're trying to get fit on a plant-based diet, and you gotta adjust accordingly. So don't listen to that advice either. Yes, it has all essential amino acids, but you gotta pay attention to them still, and especially to leucine. So how do you do that, Fritz? You might be like, hey, I don't want to count my amino acids, I don't want to count my leucine, which you don't need to. I don't do it either. So what I recommend is having a little bit more protein than on an animal-based diet, because then if you have more protein overall, the amino acid profile will go up too, and then you don't have to worry about hitting your leucine. So I recommend hitting at least 0.8 to 1 grams of protein per pound of your goal body weight. So if you have a lot of weight to lose, a lot of extra body fat, you don't want to feed the body fat, right? You want to feed your muscle. So that's why I like to say, hey, hit your protein with your goal body weight, which is 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. So that's another misconception, the amino acid profile. You definitely want to have a look and you want to make sure to get enough leucine into your diet. Another misconception I see is people are trying to really get the protein in. They've understood, hey, I got to pay attention to it. I got to get enough in to tone up, to build muscle and to be healthy long term, and then they start searching, right? They look up on Google, hey, high protein vegan recipes, or on Instagram, they go on hashtags high protein vegan. And what happens here is, again, the intention is there, and I love that, and I did it myself. However, most recipes you see online for high protein vegan recipes, you can ignore, you can basically throw away. Because most of these meals maybe have 10 grams of protein, 15 grams of protein, maybe 20 grams of protein, which if you look at the numbers, if I want to hit 200 grams a day, for example, I'm just not going to get there, right? It's impossible. So you can basically ignore most of the online high protein vegan recipes because they're not going to serve you. So if you see any recipes with quinoa, lentils, black beans, any like protein bar, energy bar recipes, or even vegan snacks. So this is the big one. Like if you see online healthy vegan snacks, it's usually dates and peanut butter and nuts and hummus and bread and crackers. You can basically ignore all of the advice, which is so unfortunate. So maybe just as a side note, when I first went vegan, I followed all this advice, right? And what happened is I gained 30 pounds of weight in just a few months. So unfortunately, again, the intention is there to help, right? And those are all vegan foods, but unfortunately, they're not gonna help you be healthy on a plant-based diet. So you can basically ignore all these recipes. And if you want to have high protein vegan recipes, you can actually check out my nutrition page, which is the only page on the internet with actual high protein vegan recipes. You can trust me on that. So go check it out. But if you understand that most recipes are not going to help you, that's a big step. And then, okay, what recipes could help me? Recipes with tofu, tempeh, seitan, and protein powder. If you find recipes with these 4 ingredients, then you can be sure that this is something that can help you and you can use for your plant-based journey. So understand this as well. And for you to crush your goals, you gotta make sure your foods are aligned with the best vegan protein sources and ignoring the advice that you find online.